Hi everyone, this is L Boogie and you're watching the L Boogie Speaks 2 show. I have some recent developments. Excuse me. Earlier this week, your president and vice president visited Atlanta, Georgia. Wow. I was really surprised. They've been in office a year and they finally got around to black people. So they came to Atlanta. I think they made their remarks at Clark Atlanta University, some at Atlanta Center. Then they perused over to Ebenezer Baptist Church. Of course, Warnock was there because I think he was at one time the pastor of the new Ebenezer right across the street from old Ebenezer. Then they went and laid a wreath. Jim Crow Joe Biden and Kamala laid a wreath at Dr. King and his wife Coretta Scott King's tomb. I know, from what I know, I've been there several times. There's water surrounding the tomb, and the tomb is like on a platform in the middle of a pool. I know the water started boiling. When they went and laid the reef, I know the water started boiling. I know they hurry up and got them off because they didn't want the water to be boiling on camera. Because I don't think Dr. King would be pleased. Of course, I think his daughter, who's the president over, I don't know if it's his estate, but I think his legacy. She was there. She gave some, support for the effort, which is over a year overdue. And from my opinion, I think that, arms had to be twisted to get them to come to pay black folk in Atlanta some attention, because there's rumblings, not really rumblings, they know they're in trouble. So both gave a speech. I just listened to parts of both of their speeches. Jim Crow, Joe, tried to be tough. He talked tough, to satisfy the natives. And they had a cross section of black people sitting behind him and stuff like that. And they were grinning and cheesing, so glad that he finally made his way to address black people. And they're addressing the right to vote. Okay. It's important to vote. That's very important. But it's important to get something for your vote. And little, trinkets and symbolic gestures and victories are not enough at this point. So securing the right to vote, though is important, is really not on the top of a list of things that are tangible. So it benefits them to have the Voting Rights Act, passed. So y'all can continue to go on, pile up in there in the voting booth and keep them in power so they can continue to ignore you and save you for last. Because that's what they happen. They save black people for last. And he came to Atlanta not talking about tangibles. He's talking about passing the Voters' Rights Act, but he's not talking about getting the George Floyd Policing Act passed. He's not talking about getting the Emmett Till anti-lynching law passed. He's not talking about putting the down payment on reparations. And I can say this because, for you Negro faithful, that continue to be faithful to the Democratic Party and its president when it's evident that he has done nothing for you, and you won't do research. I had a comment on a video I made. I think it was my last video about black voters 50 and over. Talk about lying and stuff like that. How can someone be lying when all you basically have to do is Google what I say? You don't believe what I say, look it up for yourself. $31 billion to Native Americans. Google that. See what you get. See what comes up. The truth is going to come up. Google Asian anti-crime bill. Now, one thing about the Asian anti-crime bill, anti-hate bill, that gave Asians and Pacific Islanders $50 million and protections, that was a bipartisan bill. That means the Republicans and Democrats were both on board with giving them what they got, and the president signed it. But he comes to Atlanta to talk about voting rights, to make a speech about black people having the right to vote. He says Americans, but Americans have the right to vote. Now remember, every 25 years they have to vote on your right to vote. So he's talking about a right to vote when it's not permanent. So why does every 25 years they have to vote on black people having the right to vote? That's one issue right there. But the main thing is they want you to have the right to vote because that's how they benefit. That's how they stay in power. And that's how, the ones that do support, voting is important. But the great majority of black people have ID. So I don't think it's an issue where, a bunch of black folks don't have IDs. I don't think that's true because you can't function or do anything, cash checks, even if you don't have a driver's license. If you have to have a state ID to cash a check. And from what I know, you can use a state ID or a state issue ID, be it driver's license or just identification, to vote. So, but what does affect the black vote is the gerrymandering when they'll chop a voting block in half, a section. I said a district. I'm sorry. They'll chop a district in half. Maybe a large district where black people will have great voting power, and they'll slice it up and put it over on somewhere to make a predominantly white district vote more powerful. So the gerrymandering, that does affect things. But I don't know about them, the issue of black people being disenfranchised by voter ID and stuff like that. I don't know about that. But at the same time, they come with us with the vote, but they're not coming with no tangibles. He's not talking about getting the real important bills passed. He's not really talking about addressing qualified immunity so a policeman won't have the right to kill with impunity, or money. We need monies. Now, I had a conversation with an older female a few days ago. She was 73. And she was telling me, we got to get the right people in there. We've been trying to get the right people in there the last 50 years. I'm like, it's like beating a dead horse with some of you guys. Okay. You had Obama for 8 years, and then y'all love to make excuses for them. When it's a contrast. It's how you're treated versus how they treat other groups. You get excuses, lip service, and speeches. Just like the speech he gave, supposed to have been fiery. He's going to get tough on the Senate and talking about, I'm willing to do away with the filibuster. It ain't about what you say, it's about what you do. He knows he could get rid of the filibuster. He won't do it. Notice he said to include getting rid of the filibuster. Just to pacify you Negroes, a little bit longer, and to say you got a little attention to hold you, and then until they come up with another symbolic gesture to hope to get you out to vote in November. That's what it is. It's a game. And to some of you Negroes who can't see that, do your homework. Okay, it's simple. I'm going to break it down to you like you was 5 years old. You have what you've gotten from this president the last year and compare it to what other groups have gotten. Black people on one side, Asians, LGBT, Afghans, and Native Americans, and migrants that tried to enter the country illegally. What they've gotten from this president and what you've gotten. It's simple. Now, you can make excuses all you want why he can't give you the proper attention, which includes protections and money. But he can give it to other groups that don't even vote for him, didn't vote for him. And in one case with the Afghans and people trying to enter the country illegally, they're not citizens, so they don't have the right to vote. So you get attention when they want you to turn out to vote for them. So they want to secure your right to vote because that's really the only thing important to you people. But he gives protections and money to other groups. You, black people, Asians, $50 million and protections. Afghans, resettling in the United States, $6.4 billion to resettle in the United States. I'm talking about money, not the right to vote. The right to vote is important, but if you're standing in line and you're not getting anything, like these other groups are getting money, and you're not getting any. Native Americans, Hawaiians, and Alaskans. He signed a big stimulus package worth $1 trillion. They got $31 billion out of it. What did you get? Now, these are the other groups. This is you, black voter. They're getting money. He and Kamala Harris comes to Atlanta and give you guys a speech, and that's enough. Okay? You're talking about they can't get any bipartisan support for the voting rights bill, but they damn sure got together and gave bipartisan support in the Senate, including your Warnock, to vote to give Asians protections and $50 million. They get money, you get lip service and symbolic gestures like holidays and a hip hop holiday, Juneteenth. You get stuff like that. While groups that aren't citizens or either don't vote are getting money. What are you getting? The Democratic Party's black voter base here, other groups here. They're getting money, you're getting nothing. Is that simple to you? They're getting money that's going to affect them down the road, generation after generation. Their kids and grandkids are going to be able to take advantage of what they have been given. What are your grandkids and kids are going to be taking advantage of when you are just getting nothing, a nothing burger, but some lip service? Boy, black people were happy as hell in Atlanta. I would say some, I won't say all, that the president showed up, laid a wreath at Dr. King and Coretta's spot. He ain't even like Dr. King. He was come on, man. Do your homework. I'm going to say do your homework. Do your homework. It does not matter if he was Obama's vice president. Just do a little research in his history as vote. You can put in Joe Biden, bills he's written, and it's going to pop up. Do a little research. This is the age of information. Instead of going off of how you feel, go off of what the fuck you know. Look at his record as a politician, and stop bringing up the Republicans. Well, the Republicans are going to do this and this and this and this and that, this and that. There's not a Republican president. Trump is not president. Biden's president. It ain't about what the Republicans gonna do. It's about what Biden has done in the last year since he has been in office. For you. And for these other folks. You on one hand, other groups on the other. They get money, you get lip service. See what I'm saying? So it's plain. So if you can't understand this, and don't take my word for it, look it up. Look up the Asian anti-hate bill, and it'll come up. Google is your best friend. It'll come up. Then look up $31 billion to Native Americans. It's going to come up. Then look for the proposed, which Biden, he shot it down after the big loss in the Virginia governor's race. The proposed $450,000 apiece that were supposed to go to those separated at the border for trying to enter the country illegally. Okay. Afghans to resettle. 6.4. Look it up. Look it up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Since I'm supposed to be lying, you're lying. No, nigga, look it up. Look it up. Use your phone for something else. Use your phone and do something constructive with it. And get the fuck off of BET. You can look it up. Okay. What has he done specifically for black people that no one else in this country can benefit from? Everybody in America benefits from the right to vote. Everybody in America benefits from the right to vote. Except that other groups, their vote works for them. Your vote don't work for you. Because you make no demands. You just line up and vote. It's too obvious this time that your vote has gotten you nothing. But it has got other groups billions of dollars. That's all that matters. Voting does matter, but what you get from your vote matters even more. So what you've done with your vote is you supplied these other groups with money. While you got a visit to Atlanta, some lip service, and that's it. Now, is that plain enough for you? Don't take my word for it. Use your phone for something constructive. Hit that Google button and put in Asian anti-hate bill. Information gonna come up about it. How much the Asians and Pacific Islanders got. $31 billion to Native Americans. Boom, that's gonna come up. And it's gonna break down how they spent them, where the money's gonna go, and who's gonna get it and everything. Boom, $6.4 billion to Afghans to resettle in the United States. That's your taxpayers' money. Black voter. Look it up. You're getting nothing while other groups are getting something. And they treat you like this because you allowed yourself to be treated that way. Excuse me. That's why. So if you think I'm lying, look it up for yourself. But you don't want to look it up because you're going to need to go down to the store and ask Habib for that whole box of blow pops because you are all day sucker. That's what that is. So it's not the 40s and 50s when you just didn't have that much information. You can't find out about candidates. You look up Kamala Harris. Look up her record when she was DA. She was DA of San Francisco. Look up her record when it comes to how she was treating black mothers when their kids were being truant and won't going to school. You can find out anything about anybody. Stop making emotional decisions and acting out of fear. Trump's a racist. But then Biden said, if you're not black if you don't vote for me, but that's not a racist statement. Pull your head out your ass. I say again, pull your head out your ass. We're beyond being nice about the whole thing because right now we're looking like some suckers because everybody else getting paid and you ain't getting shit. That's my message for today. Look it up. You don't believe me? Look it up. I'll holler at y'all later. This is L Boogie. Like and subscribe if you will. If you don't, I'm still going to be in your ass anyway. I'll holler at you later. Peace.